decide what you want, and then continue down the path. Often in life, we decide what we want, we make an educated guess, and often, we try not to make a choice, and not making a choice in itself is making a choice. Imagine you come to a part in the roads, and you could either go this way or you can go this way, but you decide not to make a choice. What happens is now you're just sitting at this little middle area, you're stagnant. So in life, we have to see when a choice is in front of us, and when the opportunity presents itself. Now, don't make a choice if you don't have to, right? When you're on a straight path, there's only one path. You don't need to start going left and right and get off the path. But when you have to make a choice, really look at it not just from a physical perspective. A lot of this conversation is actually metaphorical and more spiritual than it is physical. So when you come to that choice in the road and you decide which you want to be, what you want your outcome, who you want to follow, right? At the end of the day, stick to it. Because that same stagnation, that same being stuck whenever you don't pick left or right, happens with your indecision. Your indecision, let's say, right? You decide, all right, I'm taking this left, I'm going this way, and you start walking down the road. That was the day you came to it, right? So the day you came to it, you decide to walk down the road. It's easy because you just decided it. But now you wake up the next day, it's a different day now, and you have to continue to walk down that road. You have to be confident in your decision. And if you're not confident in your decision, and don't get me wrong, sometimes we make the wrong choice and you need to go back, right? If you're not confident in your decision, you'll turn back around and you'll walk the other way, and then you'll go back to that crossroads again, and maybe you'll try walking down this road a little bit. And then you realize, okay, that's not the road I want to go down either. So then you turn back. The next day you wake up, right? And you come and you're like, oh, maybe I should have gone the other way. And you come back to this road and you're stuck at these crossroads. You're stuck at the crossroads. And at the end of the day, you have to decide which way to go and truly walk that way beyond the first couple days. Every day you wake up, you have to know to yourself now, okay, I made this decision. I chose to take a left. I'm going to keep going this way and see what's next on this journey. Because if you keep coming back, if you keep being indecisive, you're not going to see what either road has to offer. You're stuck here. If you decide which way you want to go and stick to it, then you can start to see where the roads will actually lead you, where they're going to take you. Now, the hardest question becomes, which way do I go? Left or right? You know what I mean? Which way am I going? And I think the easiest way to answer that is ask God. Ask, you know what I mean? God, whatever that means for you, get in tune with your inner guide, right? God is here to guide all of us. God shows us all the way and how to get closer with him. And then walk down that path. Now, here's where it also gets hard, okay? When you come to the crossroads, God will tell you which way to go. God will say, hey, take a left, right? The right has a whole bunch of roses right here, and the left has a whole bunch of thorns, and it doesn't look pretty, and he'll tell you, take the left. And you're asking yourself, why am I taking the left, right? But you trust, you have faith, so you take the left. You start walking on the left, and it gets even more thorny, it gets even more dry, and there's all this chaos and all this stuff that you see on this road. And now you start to question again, because he's not going to he doesn't need to tell you go left anymore. He already told you go left. You already believed him. He doesn't need to tell you again, take a left, take a left. At this point, the conversation becomes continue, keep walking. But what we do a lot of times is we decide, okay, I want to walk with God. I want to take. Sorry about that. I ran out of storage and I had to, remake the video, or not remake it, but I had to come back to you guys. So, like I was saying though, a lot of times we make that decision to walk with God and we start going down the path and we see some thorns in the way and we get a little cautious. So we go back, we turn around. The first day when he tells us, hey, go that way, we're confident. And then we turn around again and we walk back and we get back to the intersection and we go, God, which way do I go? And we keep asking which way to go. And he's like, I already told you. You go down the path with the thorns. Now, we don't know where these paths lead, right? The path with a whole bunch of roses may leave you in the desert. It may lead you to a swamp. Then the path with a whole bunch of thorns may lead you to the kingdom. It may lead you to a waterfall. You know what I mean? It could be a beautiful outcome, but you have to get past you have to actually walk down the trail. And so often we stop because we get this obsession almost. And I say we, but I'm talking about a lot of myself, right? We get this obsession almost with hearing the guidance, with hearing God's word. And that's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. It shows that you got God in your heart. But now you need to walk with the faith and remember what you already know. Know what you comprehend, what has already been told to you in the decision you made. When you take that left and you know that's where I want to go, stop coming all the way back to test the right. Stop coming all the way back just to be like, oh, you know what? Never mind. Oh, never mind. Never, because what's happening, you're stuck here. You're still stuck in that crossroads. And when you finally decide, all right, you know what? This is the path I'm going to walk. And this is, spiritually, it's a battle. It's not just as easy as I'm going to decide, spiritually, there's the inner war going in between your highest self and your lowest self. And that is just a reflection of the higher same war that's going on. There's a higher versus a lower. We're all in this spiritual war. And that also is happening within us, right? A fractalized version of that, a smaller version of that is happening within us. And we have to, so it's not just as easy as like having that confidence and being like, okay, well, I'm going to keep walking this way. It's going to be a battle, especially those first couple steps. But here's something I can tell you. Every day that you continue to wake up and you say, hey, I chose this path, I'm going to walk down it. You end up getting so far from that crossroad that why would you turn around? Why would I turn all the way around now and walk 2 months backwards when I've been walking down this path for so long? At this point, I got to stick to the path and hold it down. You know what I mean? And the whole time you're walking, God's with you. But here's what you got to understand as well. If there isn't a crossroads and you're not about to make a wrong step, God doesn't have to get on you as harshly, not as harshly, but as directly, right? Imagine a tour guide. Imagine a tour guide, an actual tour guide. You guys are walking down a path, and one path is going to lead to destruction, one leads to salvation, right? Your tour guide's going to be like saying pretty heavily, it's going to be like, hey man, don't go down that path. Everybody's getting everybody. Don't go down that path. But then, once you choose salvation, you're walking down that path with the tour guide, he's not going to be as extreme. He's more so going to be like, and if you look over to the right, you see the virtues, like being humble and being grateful in life. And if you look over to the left, you'll see, Spirit and the Holy Trinity. And and it becomes a lot more of a nice, subtle conversation. But sometimes we mistake that subtle conversation for almost like not abandonment, but we mistake it as, well, he's not talking to me as directly. Am I going down the right path? And it's like, no, that's your confirmation that you're going down the right path. The fact that he continues to talk to you, but it's not as harsh, it's because you're learning. You're starting to become obedient. You're starting to follow. God's will is starting to become your will. And a lot of us in life are trying to make these changes. We're trying to do self-improvement. There's a multitude of different changes that you could be doing in your life, right? It's almost like dieting, working out, anything, right? When you're dieting, you could stick to the diet because you decided it and you want to do it for a reason. When you're working out, you can stick to your workout routine and you can wake up every day and build those muscles and build that consistency. Or you can wake up and go down the path that you already know you didn't want to decide. You chose not to go down that path for a reason. So what happens now? You go back, you cheat on your diet, you eat some donuts, right? Or you don't work out, or you're lazy for a couple days. And the next thing you know, you're like, wait a second, let me turn around and walk back to the path so I can go down this better route, right? And all of this is essentially just to say, right, that you have to have faith in your choice, make an educated decision, ask God for the guidance in your decision, and then continue walking. Continue walking and you'll get past the thorn bushes. You'll get past everything else and you'll see the reason why you're sent down that path. You'll see the reason why you chose that way in the first place. Same thing with working out. Same thing with diet. You know what I mean? You'll start to lose the weight. You'll start to feel healthier. And by losing the weight, that's such another great analogy, right? Now you're shedding those fleshly desires. You're shedding your flesh, right? Once you start walking with God, you'll start to shed the flesh, but it takes time. Those temptations you feel, those desires to do those things, that's only temporary. But the longer you work out, the longer you do that, now you're going to have a different desire. You're going to desire God's will over your own will. So Woo! That's my speech for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's something that I'm going through, right? I'm not trying to just project it onto you. This is something in my own life where I've been trying to walk with God, and I find myself, I walk a little bit further every time, but I turn around and I start walking back to the crossroads. And then on the way back to the crossroads, I'm like, wait a second. Let me go that way. Let me keep going the way God's telling me to go. And then I'll turn around and and at this point, I'm getting so far from the crossroads to where it's getting ridiculous. And I'm asking myself, why are you doing this still? Walk with faith, my boy. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought I'd share that with you guys and let you guys, also have that same message in your lives, to walk with faith and keep going. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed. Stay living in love, stay living in light, man. Everybody, I don't even know what that was. I just made that up.